It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. Got the J in the chair, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress. You've been carrying that weight since the group chat. Smiling in the pit, but you knew that. Heart say break, mind say keep going. Now you in the lobby and the lights start glowing. Edge laid, hoodie on, still holy. Tear stains on the sleeve, still cozy. Black girl doc with the big gold hoops. Say your name and the shame get loose. It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. The J in the chat, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress. We wave when we wade through the deep end. We brave when we break, then we deepen. You're safe in the space when you log in. Drop one word for your check-in. It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. The J in the chat, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress.
Welcome back to the Reset with Dr. J. This is where we take those WTF moments and we turn them into breakthroughs. This is on WTF Nation Radio every Sunday at noon. So it's good to see you again, whether you're actually tuned in or I'm just some background noise while you literally do anything else. Welcome. Quick thing before we jump in, gotta do my disclaimer. I am a therapist, but I'm not your therapist. And this is not therapy. This is just a conversation. If you're in crisis, I need you to call or text 988. They are there 24/7. So the stuff we talk about here is real and it helps. But if you're dealing with some heavy stuff, then go to actual therapy. This show is more like the thing that makes you realize you probably should talk to somebody. Or it's what you think about in between your sessions. Either way, we good? Cool. So this is episode 2. Last week I got news that about 6,000 people tuned in. So that's dope. I'm excited. Thank you. Thank you for showing up for this new show. And thank you for showing up for you. Because when you show up and we have these type of conversations, it takes your brain to the thing. We're dealing with it. We're not sweeping it under the rug because what you bury only gets heavier. So this is taking a moment to deal with some of our stuff. So go you. We talked about why you can't turn off when you get home. Why your body is still in protection mode even though objectively we're safe. So this week I want to talk about something that's basically the foundation of everything that I do. So, you know how if you've seen my logo, it says the reset up top, and at the bottom it says that resilience is not optional. It is the mission. We should probably talk about what I actually mean by that. Because here's the thing. Most people have resilience completely wrong, in my opinion. And the wrong definition is what's keeping you stuck. So as you're getting to know me, I'm Dr. J. I'm a therapist. I'm a vet. I'm an author. I'm a consultant. I wear a lot of hats. I'm here to tell you that everything you think about resilience is probably backwards. And once you get what it really is, game changer. So today, we are throwing out that bounce back nonsense, and we are rebuilding what resilience actually looks like. So, this episode is pre recorded due to having prior business engagements to do. So, usually I would say, like, if you're in the chat, tell me what's up. Um, shoot me an email, drop a comment in the replay, and we can still keep this conversation going because I will check it. And usually I do my best to respond. Okay? So, real talk. What have we been told about resilience? Something bad happens, you go through stuff, loss, trauma, deployment, whatever. And everyone's like, oh, you are so resilient, or you will bounce back, or my personal favorite, you're strong, you got this. And the whole vibe is like, you're supposed to just pop back up into shape like a rubber band or something. And you're supposed to go through the thing, like process it real quick, and then like boom, you're back to who you were before, like nothing ever happened. That's the story, right? Resilient people bounce back. Well, they don't let those things affect them. Well, they're unbreakable. So you try to be that person, right? I know I have. So you try to show up in the same way that you did before, act the same, feel the same, be the same. And then when you can't, because how could you, you start to think that something is wrong with you. Like, I guess I'm not resilient enough. I must be broken. I didn't bounce right back. Do y'all feel me on this? I see it constantly. People grinding, people pushing, white knuckling their way through life and trying to prove that they're fine. They're tired as hell. They are barely holding it together, but they're still showing up every day because that's what you're supposed to do when you're resilient, right? Nah, that's not resilience. It is endurance. But I think there's a huge difference. So, what's really happening here? What's actually going down when we buy this bounce back story? You go through something that changes you, which of course it does. That's what hard stuff does. It changes us. But everybody's like telling you to get back to normal, right? Return to your baseline, be the person that you were. And so you try. You push everything down. You act like it didn't affect you. You pretend that you're fine. You show up to work with your game face on. You smile at family stuff. You say, I'm good when people ask. And maybe from the outside, it looks like you bounce back. But on the inside, you're not whole. You're split. So part of you is pretending like nothing happened. Part of you is stuck in what did happen. And those parts are not talking to each other. That's not resilience. That is compartmentalization. And it works for the minute until it doesn't. Because you can't just delete what happened and go back to your like factory settings. That's not how people work. What actually needs to happen, and this is the real work, it is the integration of what I just talked about. You got to take what happened and integrate it into who you're becoming. You're not trying to erase it. You are not trying to bounce back. Those things are inaccurate. You have to integrate it. So you're not trying to be who you were before. You actually are becoming something new, or somebody new, I guess I would say. Somebody who went through the thing and came out different. That's resilience and actual transformation. Once you get this, the resilience is not bouncing back, it's integrating forward. Like everything changes. You stop trying to be who you were. Here's the thing, I talk to people all the time and they're like, I gotta get back to this, I gotta get back to that. The thing is, though, we end up disappointing ourselves, and that does not feel good. We can't get back to, we just can't. No matter what has happened to us, it has already happened, right? So, whatever changes that have happened, they've already happened. So, if we're trying to get back to who we were and it's impossible, then we're always going to be disappointed in ourselves because we can't. So I want to offer you this new way of thinking, this new definition. We can stop pretending that that thing didn't mess with us, right? You stop measuring yourself against like the version that doesn't exist anymore and start asking better questions like, who am I becoming? What am I learning? How am I different now? That's resilience. And honestly, it's way more real than this like bounce back fantasy that I don't know how that was created, right? Bouncing back is passive. It's just hoping you snap back into place, and that's not real. Integration, though, that's active. It's choosing to build something new from what happened. All of it matters. Something happened, and I'm moving forward, and I have to integrate. I can't throw it out or literally act like nothing happened to me. That doesn't work. So, like I said, normally I would be like checking in with the chat and saying, hey, is this making sense? If you're listening, or if this is clicking, go ahead and drop something in the chat. So do that in the comments, though. I would love to hear, like, are there any aha moments coming to you? And you don't have to get like super personal in the chat or anything like that, but you could just say, yeah, I see you, I hear you, or yep, relatable. But just kind of give me some feedback. Let me know you're out there. Okay, so let's break down what resiliency actually is. So, first up, resilience is sustainable strength. So, it's not the endless endurance that I think we think it's supposed to be. It's a big difference. Endurance is like, I can take it, I can keep going, I can push through, that type of energy. Endurance is gritting your teeth and grinding it out no matter what. Endurance is, I don't need help. I don't need rest. I got this. And look, sometimes you need endurance, right? So we don't have to throw it out. But, because sometimes you do have to push through. But if that's like your only move, then you're going to break eventually. So I don't want to paint the picture that, that we don't ever need endurance, because we do. But we need more than that. That's what I'm trying to say. So because endurance, it runs out. And you can only run on empty for so long before something gives. So sustainable strength is different. Sustainable strength is, I can handle hard things and I know when I need to rest. It's, I'm strong and I know when to ask for help. It's, I'm actually building capacity, instead of just toughing it out until I collapse. Sustainable strength says, I am strong enough to admit when I am struggling. I am strong enough to take a break. I am strong enough to say, I need some backup here. That's resilience. So it's not about being unbreakable. You need to know how to bend without snapping. It's not about never needing help, right? Because that's not real. It's about being secure enough to ask for it or even learn that you need it. So resilience is not proving that you can do everything by yourself. Resilience is building a life where you don't have to. I always tell people, like literally when we were in the service, everybody had a battle buddy, and you better had known where that battle buddy is at, right? So if you didn't know, then you got in trouble or some sort of consequence, right? And like literally, y'all went to the latrine together, y'all had child together, or whatever, right? Whatever your experience was. Why, when we get out though, and this is for my service members, but you know, if you can relate in different ways, but why do we get out? And then we think like we're supposed to handle life's challenges by ourselves. Like, no, that doesn't work. We need other people. We really do. So, the second piece, resilience is integration, right? Not erasure. So, this one, this is the big one that I think people get twisted. Like something hard happens, and then your first instinct is to like try to erase it. I want to forget that it happened. I want to move on. I don't want this to define me. Like, I get it and it makes sense. But here's the truth, like, you can't erase it. And trying to is what keeps people stuck. So, what you went through, no matter what it was, it's part of your story now. It shaped you. Integration means that it means that you take what happened and then you weave it into who you're becoming, right? So you don't let it define you. You don't pretend like it didn't happen either. I can think of many, many horrible things in my life that have happened to me, right? And sometimes we're like, I don't want that to be a part of my story. The reality is, it is a part of your story. So, because it's a part of your story and you don't want it to be, or you try to make it like it's not, that's what can keep you stuck. So, you have to be careful with that. Now, I can take it and see what I learned from it. I can see how it changed me. What do I know now that I didn't know before? And there's some movement. You can kind of hear it, the thinking move a bit more. I didn't let it define me, but I didn't act like it didn't happen either. And that's how we move forward. So I want you to think about that. Maybe you learned that you're tougher than you thought. Maybe you learned who your real people are. Maybe you got clear on what actually matters. That's integration. You're not erasing the hard thing. You're transforming it. You have wisdom now. You've been through some things. You got some strength. You got some clarity, hopefully, or you're leaning towards getting it, right? That version of you who's been through something and you integrated it, that person is actually more resilient than the version who never went through it, right? So, in spite of what happened, not in spite of what happened, but because of what happened, because of what happened, I am who I am today. All the things that have happened to me that really sucked, they still suck, right? That they happen. But I am who I am because of every little piece that has happened before me. I can acknowledge both. So I want you to think about that for yourself. Who you were, who you are, and who you are becoming, because those things are all important, right? So the third thing, resilience is transformation and not restoration, right? So we talked about that. You're not trying to get back to who you were. You are becoming something new. Taking some pieces though. One of the things I can't remember like what exactly that is called, but there was like this form of Japanese art, and it was like a bowl or cup or something like that that was broken, and they repaired it with like gold. So you can look this up. I'm not exactly sure what it's called or whatever, but I just remember like the repair with gold. So it's not the same bowl or cup, whatever the example was, right? They repaired it with gold. So it has some pieces, it's intact in a way, but also the gold is what makes it beautiful. So it's not back to what it was. It's a new version of it. So I always like to think about that when I'm explaining this to somebody. It's not bad. It's just, that's the point, right? If the bowl was broken, so now I can choose to like throw it away, or I can choose what to keep, and then I can fix it with some gold. The goal isn't to like, resurrect the person who hasn't been through anything yet. That's not the goal. The goal is to become the person who went through it and who came out clearer, stronger, and solid in who they are. That's transformation. That's resilience. So we're not going backwards. We are going forward. And that person that you're becoming is more equipped for real life than who you were before, right? Because you've been through some things. And you don't need to be harder. You just need to be more integrated, more whole, more you. So hopefully this is landing for some people. And you can relate to this because we are human beings. So where does this bounce back lie actually show up? Let me paint the picture. Something hard happens. Deployment ends. You lose somebody. Relationship blows up. Health crisis. Whatever. And the people around you start the timer. When are you going to be back to normal? When are you going to come back to work? You good now? There's this pressure to prove that you're fine. So you show up, you smile, you say, I'm good. But inside, you're like, I'm not good. I don't even know who I am right now. But I guess I'm supposed to be fine, so cool, I'll just fake it. And you do. You perform fine. You go to work. You do the small talk. You act like nothing is different. But you're exhausted. Because all your energy is going into maintaining this illusion that you bounce back. And you're wondering, why is it so hard? Why can't I be normal? Because normal doesn't exist anymore. I don't even like the word normal. I feel like everybody's got a different normal. But that version of you is gone. And trying to bring that back is draining. So what if you just said, I'm not the same person, and that's okay. I am figuring out who I am now. That's resilience. Here's another place that I think this shows up. Isolation. How many of us, like I just kind of talked about it a little bit, but isolation. How many of us isolate when we're going through something, right? And it's not necessarily wrong, but like, again, you need multiple different things to do. When you are trying to bounce back, you can't let people see you struggling, because struggling means you're not resilient, right? It means you're not bouncing back fast enough. So you pull back, you isolate, you handle it solo. You don't tell people what you're really going through. You don't reach out, and you definitely don't ask for help. Because resilient people don't need help. They bounce back on their own. Except that's cap. That's not real. Real resilience, it includes other people. Real resilience is knowing I can't do this alone, and I gotta be cool with that. Resilience is saying I'm struggling and I need some support. That's strength. That's real. That's sustainable. Let's try that. Trying to do everything by yourself is endurance, but also it's going to run out. And that's where the bounce back thing gets dangerous. So you push and you push and you push and you're trying to prove that you're fine. But then one day something small happens. Somebody says something sideways. You drop your cup of coffee. Traffic's bad, and you completely lose it. One thing that I swear always happens, if you guys have ever been in like a rush or something, that is the only time something gets caught on the door handle. Like, no other time in life does anything get caught on that door handle except for when you're like trying to rush or you're in a bad mood or something. But like that small thing happens and you completely lose it. Full breakdown over something that doesn't even match the reaction, right? And so then you're like, what is wrong with me? Why am I falling apart over nothing? But it's not nothing. It's everything that you've been trying to push down. You've been trying to bounce back. And this happens when you try to erase instead of integrate. All that stuff you didn't deal with is still there. And eventually it's going to come out. I like to get people to picture like a rug. And I always say, like, okay, so let's imagine you're sweeping something under the rug, right? And you keep sweeping it under the rug. And so imagine this pile of stuff under the rug getting bigger and bigger. And, there's not a lot of space then to walk around it anymore, right? And you're going to trip eventually. So we got to like start to clean some of that stuff up. So, all right. So if resilience is integration, sustainable strength, transformation, how do you actually do it? I got 4 tools today that are going to help you build real resilience, not the fake bounce back version, the sustainable, integrated, real kind. There are things that you can start today that will actually help you build capacity over time. Let's get into that. So, the first tool is the integration practice. This is about actually processing what happened instead of trying to delete it. And you can do this in a journal, you can do this with a therapist, or you can do this just thinking it through. There's 3 questions. What did this show me about myself? Is your first question. Not what did it do to you, but what did it show you about you? That's different. Maybe it showed you that you're stronger than you knew. Maybe it showed you what matters to you. Maybe it showed you who shows up when stuff gets real. But that's the first question. What did this show me about myself? The next question, what do I want to take forward from this? What lessons, what strengths, what clarity do you want to keep? Maybe you learned to set boundaries. Might not have felt great, but maybe you learned that. Maybe you learned to ask for help. Again, might not have felt great, but maybe that's what you learned. Maybe you learn what you won't put up with. Keep that. So the second question, again, what do I want to take forward from this? And the third question, what am I ready to let go of? What old beliefs, what old version of yourself, what expectations can you release? Maybe you're letting go of like needing to be perfect. Maybe you're letting go of relationships that no longer serve you. Maybe you're letting go of who you thought you were supposed to be. Let it go. These 3 questions help you integrate instead of erase. You are not pretending like nothing happened. You're asking, what did this make possible? Who am I becoming because of this? And that's how you do resilience. All right, second tool, the capacity check. This is about building sustainable strength instead of just grinding until you break. So here's the deal. We all have a certain amount of capacity at any given time. capacity for stress, capacity for emotions, for demands, for all of it. So when you're just enduring, you are ignoring your capacity and you keep piling stuff on until you crash. Sustainable strength means that you are actually checking in on your capacity and you working with it, not against it. So here's the practice. Every morning or every week, ask yourself, what is my capacity right now? On a scale from 1 to 10, how much you got to give today? You can think about it right now. Just check in. What's my capacity right now? 1 to 10. I got about an 8. I feel pretty good today, or whatever, right? Like you're just checking in. Maybe you're at a 7. Maybe you're at a 4. Be honest. And then, what do I need to protect my capacity? If you're at a 4, you cannot take on an 8 level day. Something's got to give. What can you say no to? What can you push to later? What can somebody else handle? This is smart, not weakness. So here's the important part. What do I need to restore my capacity? If you're running low, what fills you back up? Sleep? Moving your body? Talking to somebody who gets it? Therapy? The Reset podcast? Just sitting in silence for a moment. Of course, y'all know I had to do that. Sustainable strength means that you are not draining the tank and hoping to make it. You are actively managing and restoring what you got. And that's how you keep doing that long term. That's resilience. Okay? Third tool, the support inventory. Real resilience includes other people. So let's get intentional about this, okay? You got to write down, who are your people? List the people that you can call when you're struggling. Because you know what's going to happen when you're struggling? You're going to think you don't have no people. So writing it down helps. Not like who you should call, who you would call. Who actually shows up? Who gets it? Who can you be real with? Write them down. Write down 3 people. Who's your top 3? Because we need that. We need that when we go to that isolation where we don't want to talk to nobody. But that person is usually there for us when we do want to talk. So maybe I try that instead of isolation today. Maybe I'll reach out. We're trying to do different things here. Restructuring our brains, okay? What kind of support do I need right now? That's something else to ask yourself, because not everybody can give you every kind of support. Some people are good at practical stuff. They'll bring food. They'll help you move. They'll watch your kids. Some people are good at emotional stuff. They'll listen. They'll sit with you. They will validate your feelings. Some people are good at distraction. They'll make you laugh. They will get you out the house. They will remind you that your life still exists. Figure out what you need and who can give you that. And then this is the hard part. Actually reach out. Yeah. Text them. Call them. Say, hey, I'm struggling. I could use an ear right now. Or whatever the specific thing is. Not, I'm fine when you're not. Not suffering alone to prove that you're strong. Asking for help is strength. It's resilience. You don't get bonus points for doing it alone. You get more tired. Build your team. Use your team. This is how it works. This is my co-host, King, in the background. He always got to make an appearance, y'all. So this is King. he's a distraction, right? Like he makes me laugh. So a companion, if you will. So going to the next or the last tool, transformation reminder. Simple but powerful. You need something that reminds you that you're not trying to go back, you are moving forward. It could be a phrase that you say to yourself: I'm not who I was. That's cool. I'm becoming who I'm meant to be. A physical thing that represents your transformation, something from deployment, something that symbolizes that you survived, something new that represents who you're becoming. I know that you all see my background when I log in and start my show. I have my challenge coins back there. They represent everything that I've survived. They represent everything that I've worked hard to create and everything that I'm still building. There's still room for more. So, like, whatever your thing is, if you have a physical thing, or find a physical thing, a ritual that marks the shift. So, sometimes when we talk about grief, we light a candle, or we journal, or we take 3 deep breaths to remind myself of transformation, not going backwards. Whatever works for you. I'm just giving you some ideas. But what matters to you, what matters is that you have something that brings you back to the truth. And I think a lot of times when I'm mentoring business owners, they're like, man, they're just like so much imposter syndrome. That's where I was going with that. And including myself, I've experienced that as well. And I do experience that as well sometimes. But the thing is, we got receipts. Like a lot of people that I come across, they have so many receipts of what they've done that it's almost comical that we're like doubting ourselves. But it's just a thing that happens, you know? And so you need to have things that remind you and bring you back to the truth. Oh, actually, you know what? I can do this course because I am a published author, you know, and there's receipts for it. I'm I'm not trying to go backwards. I'm integrating forward. I'm not broken because I'm different now. I'm evolving. You're not failing at resilience. You're redefining it, okay? That's what we're here for. We're redefining it. So find your reminder, right? I gave you a bunch of examples, but this has to resonate for you. Get creative, have fun with it, actually. Use it. When you catch yourself trying to be who you were, come back to, who am I becoming? Who am I becoming? Because we're always becoming. And that's where like our hope comes from too. Okay. All right. 4 tools: integration, practice. Those are the 3 questions to process what happens. If you missed them, go ahead and click rewind, go back and get them, write them down. Capacity check. Managing and restoring your energy. Support inventory. Knowing and using your people. When I say using them, I mean it in a good way, not a toxic way. Go back and listen. And transformation reminder. Staying focused on moving forward. Pick one. Just one. Try it. You know, our show is every Sunday at 12. So what can you do in 7 days? That's the excitement that I get. Like literally, you have 7 days. And then you can check on yourself again because I'm going to be right here. You can shoot me an email, thereset@wtfnationradio.com. Yeah, comment. If you're comfortable, if you want something anonymous, email me. But if you're comfortable commenting, which one are you starting with? Just commit to one. If you can do more than one, great. But I always tell people to commit to one because that's more realistic. You can do one. We all can do one. Literally, we can create space for that, especially when it's for our well-being, okay? All right, let's wrap up. So we started with the lie. Resilience means bouncing back, being unbreakable, going back to who you were. That's not it. That's performing and that's exhausting, and we're going to stop that, okay? Real resilience is integration, not erasure. You take what happened and you weave it into who you are becoming. Sustainable strength, not endless endurance. You build actual capacity rather than just grinding. Transformation, not restoration. You are not going back. You are becoming something new. And that new version of you is stronger, clearer, and more solid. Not in spite of what you went through, because of what you went through. 4 tools to build real resilience. Pick one, try it, see what changes. If you feel comfortable, share with me, because that's the part I love. So your challenge for the week, stop trying to bounce back. Just for this week, stop measuring yourself against who you were before. Instead, ask, who am I becoming? What am I learning? How am I growing? What's possible now that wasn't before? Email me. Tell me what shifts when you stop trying to restore and start focusing on transformation, because I want to know. So next time we might dive into, I don't know, whatever topics come up through the week. Send me your questions. Send me your topics. I want you to feel like this is your show too. Tell me what you need so I can create that for you. And thanks for joining episode 2. Thank you for being here, showing up, being curious, being willing to rethink what you thought you knew. If you've been trying to bounce back and it's not working, you're not failing. You are just working from an outdated definition. Resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It is breaking and becoming something new. It is not erasing what happened. It is integrating it. It is not endless endurance. It is sustainable strength. And that strength includes rest, by the way. It includes support. It includes your transformation. We're not trying to go back. We're moving forward. And that is the mission. Resilience is not optional. It is the mission. If you need support, reach out. 988 for crisis. Find a therapist who gets it. Also, if you need help, you're like, where the heck can I even find a therapist? I got you. Reach out to me. I'm Dr. J. This is The Reset. I'll catch you next time. Keep going. Keep integrating. Keep transforming. This is The Reset with Dr. J, where we take those WTF moments and turn them into breakthroughs. Have a good week, y'all.
This my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. Got the J in the chair, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. This my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress. You've been carrying that weight since the group chat. Smiling in the pit, but you knew that. Heart say break, mind say keep going. Now you in the lobby and the lights start glowing. Edge laid, hoodie on, still holy. Tear stains on the sleeve, still cozy. Black girl doc with the big gold hoops. Say your name and the shame get loose. This my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. The J in the chair, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. This my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress. We wave when we wade through the deep end. Hey. We brave when we break, then we deepen. Yeah. You're safe in the space when you log in. Drop one word for your check-in. Check-in, check-in. It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. The J in the chair, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a beat flag. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress.